Hello students, welcome to EPG Pathshala. I am Farhan Jalis Ahmed from Hamdard University, New Delhi, and today I am going to talk about module Applications of Colloidal Drug Delivery Systems from the paper Novel Drug Delivery System Part 2. The main objective of this module is to learn about different types of colloidal drug delivery systems and their application for therapeutic area. Now in case of colloidal drug delivery system, there are different types which are being shown on the image. You can see they can be classified as microparticles or nanoparticles, nanoconstructs. Nanoconstructs can be divided into different types: dendrimers and nanodiamonds. Now, in case of colloidal drug delivery system, then we have liposomes. There are different types, neosomes, which are being shown on the image. You can see, and pharmacosomes. They can be classified as. Then another class is microparticles or nanoparticles. Then we have specialized emulsion systems. Nanoconstructs can be divided into different types: nanomulsions, dendrimers. So all these and nanodiamonds, they cover the whole. Then we have liposomes range, neosomes. Now first types of nanoliposomes carriers are microspheres and pharmacosomes. Microspheres are spherical particles, micelles, which are ranging in size from 1 to 1000 micrometer, and they are made up of polymeric, waxy, or other protective materials. They have been investigated for delivery of therapeutic agents in diverse fields of applications. Microspheres have ability to encapsulate different drugs including proteins, small molecules, and nucleic acids, and can be easily used for the administration by different routes. For example, we have Lupron depot, Vivitrol, Parlodel, Decaptyl SR, and Neutropin depot. These are the very famous examples of microspheres which are marketed in USA or Europe. The microspheres can be utilized in the gene therapy with DNA plasmids, release of proteins, vaccines, targeting tumor cells, and also for imaging purpose. Some of the recent examples are 5-aminosalicylic acid. Some of the marketed formulations which are marketed in the form of microspheres. The first example is 5-aminosalicylic acid, which is given by oral route, and in the market it is available as gelatin microspheres for delayed drug delivery system to the colon. Then we have acyclovir, which is basically given by ocular route, and it is available in the form of sustained release of drug for effective management of ocular viral infections. Then we have drug like metoprolol tartrate, which is also given by oral route, and it is available as floating microspheres for site and time specific release of drugs for chronotherapy of hypertension. Then we have sitagliptin phosphate, which is also given by oral route, and it is available as controlled drug release with improved bioavailability of the drug in the form of microspheres. Then we have drug like ramipril, which is also given by oral route, and it is designed as a microsphere for sustained effect over a longer period of time. Then we have cephalexin, which is also given by oral route, and it is basically designed in the form of microspheres which are with nucleoadhesive polymers like guagum in combination with sodium alginate, and it is resulted in extended gastric retention and coated the gastric mucosa uniformly. So these are all examples where you can see that what is the application of microsphere in the drug delivery systems. Now, the vascular systems which are having a particle size ranging from nanometer to micro size range, combinedly they are known as colloidal drug carrier systems. The colloidal systems can easily protect the drug from outer environment, so they will protect them from degradation. These systems can enhance the drug absorption and modify the pharmacokinetics of a formulation. These systems can be administered by all routes of administration, and bioavailability and therapeutic efficacy of the drug can be improved, because if the drug is hydrophobic in nature, if it is insoluble in nature, in the microenvironment of these systems, the drug can be made solubilized in the non-aqueous or aqueous phase, and then it can be formulated into a formulation. These colloidal carrier systems, they are also available in the market. There are various commercial systems which are there. Various colloidal carrier systems such as micro and nanoparticulate drug carriers, dendrimers, liposomes, neosomes, nanoliposomes, or polymeric micelles or surfactant micelles, microemulsions and nanoemulsions, they are playing a very key or important role in the delivery of therapeutic agents inside the body to various organs, to various tissue, especially in cancer targeting to a specific tumor cell. Then natural and synthetic polymers like phospholipids, surface active agents, polyesters, and their copolymers, they can be used. So they all have been shown to excellent backbone material for designing a controlled administration system due to their biocompatibility, due to their biodegradability, their low toxicity, and they're also used in the preparation of colloidal drug delivery systems. Now, if you talk about the applications of colloidal carriers include in the field of diagnosis, in the field of monitoring, control of biological systems, and treatment of all major diseases, including severe infections and chemotherapeutics. These also involve the target the cells and receptors in respect to specific clinical conditions like myeloma or cancer. These CDCs, they have been widely used in cancer therapy for delivery of proteins, peptides. They are macromolecules. They cannot be delivered by oral route or by other routes. Tuberculosis treatment, targeting, cosmetics, and dermatological preparations. They can also be used for wastewater treatment, and they can all be used to enhance the efficacy of a catalyst. Now let's cite some examples of marketed nanoparticles formulations which can show you the application of nanoparticles in the therapeutic field. The first example is 5-fluorouracil, which is given by oral route, and 5-fluorouracil is available in the form of PLG nanoparticles for higher bioavailability than 5-fluoresceins alone. Then doxorubicin is also given by oral route, and doxorubicin loaded apotransferrin and lactoferrin nanoparticles showed improved efficacy, improved bioavailability, and safety in comparison to doxorubicin for the treatment of hepatocellular cancer in rats when it is given by oral route. Then curcumin, which is obtained from Curcuma longa, it is given by parenteral route, and in the form of nanoparticles, it improved the systemic bioavailability by increasing the therapeutic efficacy. Another example is, which is you can see in the table, is octyl methoxycinnamate, which is used for topical application, and the encapsulation of octyl methoxycinnamate in the form of nanoparticles significantly improved the topical delivery of this drug. Then lorazepam, which is investigated by nasal route, and lorazepam loaded nanoparticles using an intranasal drug delivery had higher and sustained drug concentration in the brain. Then doxorubicin and methotrexate, both are given by oral route. Doxorubicin methotrexate loaded nanoparticles showed improved therapeutic effect on tongue squamous cell carcinoma. Then we have carboplatin, which is given by parenteral route, and it is designed in the form of sodium algylate nanoparticles, and they are used for specific targeting. Another example is vitamin A, which is designed for topical application, and solid lipid nanoparticles of vitamin A has shown controlled drug release for prolonged periods and can be effectively incorporated in hydrogels or creams. Then vipnocytin is another oral drug which is encapsulated in the form of solid lipid nanoparticles, and it significantly improved the oral bioavailability. Then we have iconazole, which is applied topically in the form of solid lipid nanoparticles, and that showed rapid penetration and improved the diffusion of the drug in the deeper skin layers in comparison to plain gel. Now there are a few examples about magnetic nanoparticles like paclitaxel. It is designed in the form of paclitaxel loaded magnetic nanoparticles, and they are found to be more effective in the treatment of prostate cancer. Then doxorubicin is also designed in the form of magnetic nanoparticles, and they have very low or no cytotoxicity and were found to be more biocompatible. Then we have paclitaxel, which is in the form of magnetic nanoparticles. It effectively targets the paclitaxel into brain glioma by magnetic targeting and improve the anti-cancer effect in the brain. Then doxorubicin, again it is designed in the form of magnetic nanoparticles on A549 lung cancer cell lines, and this showed improved therapeutic role for lung cancer treatment. Now let's talk about dendrimers. You can see the structure of dendrimer. It looks like a very branched ball. These are three-dimensional structurally repeated branched macromolecules that radiate from the central core and are mainly derived from branches upon branches. The dendrimer have a strong potential because of hundreds of possible sites to couple to active species, which includes conjugation with chemical species, targeting components, radioligands, imaging agents, and pharmaceutically active compounds. Now, in this table, you can see some examples of dendrimers application from the research literature, like paclitaxel. Paclitaxel conjugated dendrimers bind with microtubule and adversely affect the microtubule structure, and it is resulted in targeted cytotoxicity of the cultured cancer cell lines. Doxorubicin similarly showed synergistic effect of the drug loading and prolonged release of the doxorubicin from dendritic carrier, and it improved the potency of dendrimer doxorubicin conjugate, and it make them an effective carrier for cancer treatment. Then similarly for methotrexate, in a research article, in vivo studies showed the statistically significant slowing of tumor growth in comparison with free methotrexate. Then cisplatin biotinylated polyamidoamine dendrimers, they are resulted as potential targeting carrier for anti-cancer agents for the treatment of ovarian cancer. Now, polymeric nanoparticles, they are solid colloidal particles which are ranging in size from 10 nanometers to about 1 micrometer, and these can effectively carry drugs inside their core. They can encapsulate proteins. They can be used for targeting various cells which are encapsulating DNA and organs due to their very small size range, in the nanosize range, and also promotes effective formation through the cell membranes. Similarly, solid lipid nanoparticles, they are sub-micron sized colloidal carriers which are ranging from 50 to about 1000 nanometer. They consist of solid lipids and surfactants. The magnetic nanoparticles are also there, which are having magnetic or paramagnetic properties, and they have the potential used in a wide variety of applications, such as for medical diagnostic. They are used for treatment of cancer. They are used for wastewater treatment. They have potential use as a catalyst or catalyst supports. They are used for biomedical imaging, genetic engineering, defect sensor, and cation sensors. Nanodiamonds are one of the most important, one of the most promising carbon nanomaterials for designing a drug delivery system, and they are used for drug delivery application. And the nanodiamonds, they fall in the size range of about 5 nanometer to 100 nanometers, and they offer a large accessible surface, and they have a unique optical, mechanical, and thermal property, and they are non-toxic as well. They are very nowadays commonly used for delivering drug to various organs or to various tissues, or for targeting purpose also. Now there are some applications of nanodiamonds, like nanodiamonds is reported in literature, like a functional covalent conjugation of nanodiamond paclitaxel preserved the anti-cancer activities on the reduction of mitotic blockage, apoptosis, and anti-tumorigenesis. Similarly, doxorubicin complex of nanodiamonds had significantly decreased toxicity in vivo compared to standard doxorubicin treatment. Then nanodiamond doxorubicin delivered via convection enhanced delivery, extended retention, and localized toxicity in normal rodent parenchyma, and was significantly more efficient at killing tumor cells than uncomplexed doxorubicin. Then siRNA nanodiamond delivery platform that demonstrates biocompatible siRNA delivery with enhanced efficacy. Liposomes are another colloidal drug carriers, and they are bilayered membrane consisting of natural or synthetic amphiphilic lipids. The liposomes can be coated with polymers for stabilization of their structure and also to prolong their circulation half-life. Like we can coat them with a hydrophilic material, their circulation half-life inside the blood will be more. Or they can be functionalized with specific ligands, so you can target a specific cell or a specific organ, or targeting for cancer targeting. Their uniqueness is to encapsulate both types of drugs, whether drugs are hydrophobic or hydrophilic in nature. Because they are bilayer in nature, they are hydrophobic core and hydrophilic outside. So both can be encapsulated. If it is hydrophilic, it can be encapsulated within the layers. If it is hydrophobic, it will be inside the core. So they are very excellent and very good therapeutic carriers. The only problem with liposomes, is their stability, because their phospholipids can easily get oxidized. So their stability is a problem which can be overcome by using various types of stabilizers or techniques like freeze drying and other things. Now in this table you can see the applications of liposomes which are shown in various research articles, like pilocarpine nitrate, which is given for by ocular route. Liposomal formulation as eye drops are developed, and they improve the extent of uptake. They also improve the residence time in the eye and reduce the intraocular pressure on rabbit eyes in comparison with free drug solution. Then rhodomitron is another topical application drug, and these liposomes, they showed potent antimicrobial activity for the treatment of acne vulgaris. Then triamcinolone acetonide, which is also applied for topical application, its liposomal gel formulation has prolonged and controlled topical delivery of the drug. Then peptides, which are given by oral route, liposomal formulation of peptides in a solid gelatin matrix, it leads to the solid dosage form for the oral delivery. Then bromophenec, which is given for oral application, the liposomes target the retina via ocular administration of the eye drops, which is not possible in other cases in the form of solution. Now, a neosome is a non-annexed surfactant based small spherical vesicles with a bilayered membrane. It is composed of natural or synthetic amphiphilic lipids, while pharmacosomes are colloidal nanometric size micelles, or maybe in the form of hexagonal assembly of colloidal drug dispersions which are attached covalent to the phospholipid. While in case of nanoliposomes, the term nanoliposomes is used to describe the bilayer lipid vesicles which is in the nano size range. It is same as liposome, only there is a difference of size. So nanoliposomes are one of the most promising colloidal carrier for delivery of low molecular weight drugs. Because of their size, they can encapsulate very easily low molecular weight drugs, peptides, small and long nucleic acids, imaging agents, proteins and peptides. Now in this table you can see the applications of neosomes which are cited in the literature, like methotrexate gel formulation in the form of topical gel. It was found to be more efficacious than marketed gel for the treatment of psoriasis. Similarly, ascorbic acid and alpha tocopherol, which is given by IV route in the form of neosomes, it showed enhanced neuroprotective effect against the cerebral ischemic injuries in male vista rats than in comparison to free drugs. Similarly, slimarin, which is given by subcutaneous route in the nibosable formulation, it improved the hepatoprotective efficacy of the drug. Then gentamicin sulfate for ocular application in the form of neosomes exhibited high retention of gentamicin sulfate inside the vesicles with slower drug release. Then roxithromycin, which is used for topical application, the neosomes of roxithromycin prolong the drug release after topical application. The neosomal gel of indomethacin showed better penetration and efficacy of indomethacin in animal models. Similarly, mefenamic acid, which is for topical application, the neosomal gel showed better inhibition of in vivo inflammation. Pharmacosomes are colloidal nanometric size micelles, vesicles, or maybe in the form of hexagonal assembly of colloidal drugs dispersions attached covalently to the phospholipids. They have been investigated for their potential applications in reduction in the cost of therapy, drug leakage, and toxicity. They are also used for increased bioavailability of poorly soluble drugs. There are some examples of pharmacosomes which are reported in the literature, like aceclofenac oral system, where solubility and resolution profile of the prepared complex was found to be much better in the form of pharmacosomes. Similarly, for ketoprofen, it showed improved solubility, improved bioavailability in the form of pharmacosomes. In case of diclofenac, which is also given by oral route, it showed improvement in water solubility in the pharmacosomes form, which resulted in improved resolution and lower GIT toxicity. Similarly, for furosemide, the pharmacosomes of furosemide showed enhanced solubility and permeability, which leads to improved viability in the body. Then aspirin, it showed enhanced solubility and increased viability in the system. Nanoliposomes are used for the encapsulation of delivery of bioactive agents. The particle size of nanoliposomes is usually less than 50 nanometer, and this term nanoliposome is used to describe the bilayer lipid vesicles which are available in the nanosize range. Now there are some examples showing the applications of nanoliposomes in this table, like for thyroid stimulating hormone, which is being given by intravenous route. There it can be used for the treatment of thyroid disease with reduced side effects and improved therapeutic efficacy. Similarly, doxorubicin, which can be given by IV route, they are designed by using phosphatidylethylamine conjugated nanoliposomes, followed, sustained released and capable of drug accumulation in the liver, kidney and lungs in rats. Similarly, for daptomycin, nanoliposomes enhance the ability of daptomycin to permeate through the skin for antibacterial action. Then lidocaine hydrochloride, which is used for transdermal application, the scientists have designed flexible nanoliposomes of lidocaine hydrochloride, and they have higher potential as a carrier for transdermal drug delivery. Another example is curcumin, in which a comparative study was performed, and chitosan coated curcumin nanoliposomes showed higher bioavailability with enhanced mucoadhesive property, storage stability, and encapsulation efficiency. While safranol, which is used for topical application, so nanoliposomes of safranol could act as a better anti-solar agent as compared to homosolate. Polymeric micelles are nanoscopic core shell structures which are formed by amphiphilic block polymers. Micelles are a spherical structure with a size range of about 10 to 100 nanometer of amphiphilic nature, poised of a non-aqueous core and aqueous shell. Micelles have potential applications for improving the efficacy of current treatments, which have ability not only for small molecules but also for delivery of biologics, including therapeutic genes, antibodies, and small interfering RNA. Now in this table, we can see the applications of micelles, like micelles or polymeric micelles of paclitaxels. They were shown to be more effective in inhibiting the proliferation of human cancer cells when they are given by oral route or by IV route. Similarly, Taxol, which is given by intravenous route, immunomicelles with attached antitumor MAB2C5 increase the accumulation of Taxol in the tumor compared with free Taxol or Taxol in non-targeted micelles and in enhancing tumor growth inhibition. Then in the case of haloperidol, which is given by intraperitoneal route, these micelles showed several-fold increase in the neuroleptic action of the drug. Then paclitaxel, which is given by IV route, folate paclitaxel composite micelles showed higher efficacy than paclitaxel micelles because of the folate receptor mediated tumor cell targeting and endocytosis of the micelles by these cells. Now in specialized emulsion system, we have microemulsions as well as nanoemulsions. Microemulsions are micron-sized isotropic mixtures which are transparent or translucent. They are thermodynamically stable. These are versatile systems and their potential to incorporate both hydrophilic as well as hydrophobic drug molecules due to the presence of both the phases. They have oil phase, which is hydrophobic in nature, and they also have water phase, which is hydrophilic in nature. They are prepared with a combination of surfactant and co-surfactant of oil, water and surfactant, usually with a co-surfactant and the oil being a mixture of different hydrocarbons and olefins. These delivery systems, they protect the drug from oxidation, from enzymatic hydrolysis, and they also enhances the solubility of poorly soluble drug molecules in addition to the oral and intravenous delivery. They are amenable for sustained and targeted delivery through ophthalmic, dental, pulmonary, vaginal, and topical route. Nanoemulsions consist of an aqueous phase and emulsified oil with a mean diameter in the size range of about 50 to 1000 nanometer. Nanoemulsion is an appropriate technology to encapsulate various compounds like drugs, antimicrobial agents, nutraceuticals, antioxidants, and flavors to prevent their degradation and to improve their bioavailability. These systems, they can help in the delivery of both hydrophobic and hydrophilic drugs by converting them in both water and oil or oil in water nanoemulsions. These have widespread applications in the field of vaccine delivery, in cancer therapy, and targeted drug delivery, and also in ocular delivery. These have various applications in cosmetics, like various cosmetic preparations are available in the form of these colloidal systems or emulsion systems. They are also used for the delivery of gene, and they are also used for the stabilization and delivery of phytopharmaceuticals. because most of the phytopharmaceuticals, they are lipophilic in nature. They can easily solubilized in a microemulsion or nanoemulsion system, where you can solubilize the phytopharmaceutical in oil phase, and then it can be emulsified to form a emulsion. And because it is emulsified, it immediately get dispersed in the aqueous phase and get absorbed. So it is also used for improved delivery of poorly soluble drugs, because these drugs, they can be solubilized in the aqueous phase or a hydrophilic phase like water or oil, and then it can be emulsified to make it soluble, and it will be easily dispensable and easily be given by oral route, parenteral route or topical route. Now in the case of microemulsions, there are some examples like glamepiride, which is given by parenteral route. Microemulsion of glamepiride formulation improved the dissolution rate of this drug. Then ampreloxetine is microemulsion of ampreloxetine improved the solubility and viability of the poorly water soluble drug. Then cilostazol, which is given by oral route, its viability is improved about by 1.4 times. Then terbinafine, which is given by transdermal route in the form of microemulsion, showed better antifungal activity against Candida albicans and Aspergillus flavus. Another example is glipizide oral microemulsion formulation, which shows to be a very promising oral dosage forms, and it improved the viability of glipizide. Then dexamethasone is also have poor viability, but the microemulsion based dexamethasone eye drops is advantageous as it is well tolerated in the eye and it provides a higher degree of viability. Nanoemulsion consists of an aqueous phase and a emulsified oil with a mean diameter in the range of about 50 to 1000 nanometer. Nanoemulsion is an appropriate technology to encapsulate various types of compounds like antimicrobial agents, nutraceuticals, antioxidants, and flavors to prevent their degradation and improves their bioavailability. Nanoemulsions can help in the delivery of both hydrophobic and hydrophilic drugs by converting them in both water and oil or oil in water nanoemulsions. They have widespread applications in the field of vaccine delivery, in cancer therapy, and targeted delivery and ocular delivery. Now there are some certain examples which are shown in the table, like example of carbamazepine intravenous nanoemulsion. Because carbamazepine is poorly water soluble, but its viability is improved when it is formulated in the form of nanoemulsion. Another example which is shown here is amlodipine bacillate, which is given by oral route. There is a 3 times increase in overall residence times of nanoemulsions, which is resulted in enhanced viability of the amlodipine bacillate. Then olanzapine, which is given by nasal route to target the brain. Scientists have found higher drug targeting efficiency and nose to brain transport for mucoadhesive nanoemulsions indicated effective brain targeting of olanzapine. Then aceclofenac, which is given by topical route. Nanoemulsion gel of aceclofenac showed higher percent inhibition value when compared with conventional aceclofenac gel. Another example is of celecoxib, which is reported for transdermal application, and nanoemulsions of celecoxib are effective for improved delivery of this drug. Then hydrocortisone, which is also given by transdermal route, its nanoemulsions have great potential for transdermal drug delivery. So students, let's now summarize whatever we have learned from in this module, in today's module. Now we have learned about various types of colloidal drug carriers, their application, because these colloidal drug carrier systems, they are very popularly now known as used as drug delivery vehicles. They have a unique set of properties that ideally fit to improve the therapeutic index of drugs by enhancing their efficacy and by reducing their toxicity, and significantly prolong their therapeutic action in biological environment. These colloidal carrier systems, they have potential application for encapsulation of low as well as high molecular weight drugs. More research on these systems have huge opportunities for the success of better treatment therapies of human healthcare. These systems can be used for a very wide range of drug molecules, whether the drug are large molecular weight or low molecular weight, whether they are lipophilic or whether they are hydrophilic. All types of drugs can be encapsulated, can be delivered, can be targeted to a specific area, can be targeted to a specific cell, can be targeted to tumor. they have a very high potential, especially in the case of cancer therapy. Nowadays, these systems are under research for the treatment of cancers, and many platforms, as I have shown you the examples in the presentation, they are available in the market. They are shown in the research where many scientists are working to design these systems to improve the bioavailability, to improve the targetability, to reduce the side effects, and also to improve their stability in the environment, to stability in the biological environment also. So they have a very huge potential. So with all this, thank you so much.